Greetings, friends, and welcome to today's dose of inspiration. In case you are just joining us today, we have been talking a little bit about prayer. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't seen any of the previous posts this week, go on back and take a look so that you can catch up to where we are today. Today we're going to pick up with the Lord's Prayer again, and we're going to start with the second little section of that prayer, if you want to call it that. I like to kind of break it up in sections because it helps us to understand a little bit better the model that Jesus was giving us when he taught us how to pray. The phrase that I want to focus on today says, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." I think what Jesus was reminding us by giving us this little portion of the model was that it is always important to pray God's will. God in his sovereignty sees everything. He already knows everything. He knows the very beginning of our lives all the way to the very end of our lives, even before we're born. As a matter of fact, the Bible tells us about the volumes of books that are in heaven. Each one of those books has a very special name on it. One of those books has your name on it. And in that book is the biography of your life, God's perfect plan for you. That's absolutely true. God already has your life planned out, the purpose for your life, and every single thing that would make your life the best it can possibly be. But here's the problem. Very often we don't seek God about his will or his plan for our life. We kind of go along with our own plan and what we will to happen in our lives. And therefore, we kind of mess things up sometimes and make a big old mess of the plan that God had for us. But here's the good news. God knows how to get us back on track when we make those kind of mistakes. He still knows the purpose and the plan that he has, and he knows what the final outcome of our life should look like. And when we get off track doing things our own way, he certainly knows how to help us to get back on track so that we can continue with the purpose and plan he has for us, because he's just good like that. The problem is many of us aren't asking him. We get ourselves in a big mess and we find the chaos of life ensuing all around us, and we try to work it out and muddle through those things all on our own. The whole while, God already has the plan to get you back on track if you'll just stop for a moment to listen. I think it's very clear that in this model of the Lord's Prayer, Jesus first started off with reverence and worship of God, which we talked about yesterday. Then he leads us right behind that into praying God's will. Before we ask him about our problems or more or less complain about them, as is the habit of most of us, Jesus says, stop. Think about asking for his will. Then begin to pray. Because when we're focused on remembering that God has a plan, it's already written down, he will give us step-by-step instructions if we'll ask him to, that will definitely steer our prayers and our further conversations in the right direction. And we're going to hear from God in a clearer way. Friends, I want to challenge you. Maybe you haven't been in the habit of really asking God's will. Maybe your prayer time with him has been more or less just begging that you can have your way. We need to change that. We need to have real conversation with God and begin to say, God, no matter what I want, it doesn't even matter. Whatever the best plan for my life that you have today, or even for someone else's life that we're praying for, that's what we want to see happen. It's definitely going to relieve a little bit of the pressure there, and it's going to help you to be once again reminded that there is a bigger plan and a bigger purpose for your life, and that you need to allow God to steer you that way every day. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. Until next time, I pray that you will walk in the favor and the blessings of the Lord. See you soon.